Hey there, welcome to the College Investor Audio Show. Today, staying in Save Forbearance has cost borrowers $3,500 each. Here's what every scenario costs. We're going to dive in, and it's going to be a doozy. But first, just a quick reminder, anytime you hear a podcast, there's an article along with it where you can dive deeper. We have all the resources and links that you need to get to know the topic very well at thecollegeinvestor.com. Skip AI and just go straight to the source. You can also like and follow and subscribe so you can connect with us directly at The College Investor. Type in those words. You'll find us on social media pretty much anywhere you are. Let's take a look here. So, formal 90-day notices, you may have noticed, began going out to more than 7 million Save borrowers on July 1st, arriving in waves. Borrowers who don't choose a new repayment plan, why not? Let's go ahead and make that choice here. By their deadline, roughly September 30th for the first group of people, are going to be placed on the standard plan automatically, which will raise your payments. In response, a common refrain has emerged in the comment sections and forums. I refuse to switch until I'm notified I have to. That way, if any new court action benefits Save borrowers, it will still apply to me because I'm technically still registered under Save. Yeah, this includes some organizations that are encouraging their members to not take action. Like the Debt Collective says, there's a lot to say right now, but largely you are either in two situations. One, you switched off of Save and regret it. Our members are taking legal action, and we want to talk to you. Fill out the survey. There's a little link. Number two, you haven't switched off Save yet. Don't. Wow, it makes it sound like waiting in the Save Forbearance could be a smart move, right? But when you walk through every scenario that could actually unfold, and I mean every scenario, the pending lawsuit, a forbearance extension, and the even longer shot wildcards, the strategy delivers almost nothing different than switching wouldn't also deliver, while the costs of waiting increase every month. The simple truth is this: waiting only preserves your no-payment forbearance. Your loan balance is going up. You're not making progress towards forgiveness, and the longer you wait, the more likely you are to have even higher payments in the future. Here's what to know about each scenario and how it could impact you as a Save borrower thinking about waiting it out. Scenario 1. The Havens lawsuit wins. Hooray! And ends the Save Forbearance anyway. The only active legal effort standing between borrowers and the transition deadline is Havens versus the Department of Education. This court case is not new. It started way back in March. But with the timeline starting to move borrowers out of Save, the plaintiffs have filed more motions to try and get an injunction. Here's what most borrowers banking on this case misunderstand. The plaintiffs are not asking to save. Their argument is that when the courts vacated the Save rule in March, the prior regulation, which was repay, the repayment plan Save was built on, should have been restored. They contend the department's refusal to administer repay is a shadow repeal carried out without the required rulemaking, and that involuntarily transferring borrowers without the option for repay exceeds the department's statutory authority. All right. Let's follow that logic to a win, and the outcome surprises the wait-and-see crowd. If the court orders the department to allow for the repay to be reinstated, borrowers could enroll in the plan. The repay plan required payments for 20 years for undergrads and 25 years for graduate students. The payment was 10% of discretionary income using 150% of the poverty line. That's a higher payment than Save for nearly everybody. The three things that could happen: number one, winning ends the Save forbearance anyway and allows repay until 2028. Number two, losing is the status quo, with Save forbearance still ending. Number three, possible forbearance continuing while the court case happens, but only if the judge issues an injunction, which hasn't happened yet. Just as important, The relief requested is a stay of the agency's actions, not just a relief for those enrolled in SAVE. That means if this case wins, everyone has access to repay until 28. You don't have to be in the SAVE forbearance to get the benefit. Okay? This is ridiculous. It is, I'm sorry. One named plaintiff is not enrolling in anything relevant. His claim is that he can't apply to repay. If repay were restored as an option, a borrower who already switched to IBR or PAYE pay could apply right back into it until it ends in 2028. Let's take a look at the odds now. The case has been pending since March without any injunctive relief, and the department argues a D.C. court cannot override the Missouri court's final judgment that ended SAVE. Earlier challenges over SAVE and repay went nowhere, while the state-led challenges that dismantled the plan succeeded. Here are the pros and cons of waiting on the outcome of this lawsuit. Hint, the cons outweigh the pros, but let's take a look at them anyway. I'm going to do pro and then con, and then pro and then con, 3 of each. Here we go. Okay, here's a pro. It allows repay to continue until the June 30th, 2028 sunset date. And the con is a win still ends the SAVE forbearance. The plaintiffs want repay billing restarted at rates higher than SAVE. Pro number 2, brings back repay's 50% interest subsidy on unpaid interest for an extra 2 years. The con, long odds, no injunctive relief since March, and the department argues a D.C. court cannot override the Missouri final judgment. One more pro, borrowers close to their 20 to 25-year mark could reach forgiveness before the plan's end. One more con, if the motion is denied, you've burned more non-counting months and now face the deadline crunch. Scenario number 2, the forbearance gets extended. An extension is plausible. Not because of any court, but because of logistics, really. Servicers are working through 7 million borrowers needing to change repayment plans, likely between now and March of 27. But look at what an extension actually delivers. More months of forbearance, during which interest accrues, and nothing counts toward forgiveness. How is this benefiting anybody? This is the same scenario borrowers have been on since 2024, and many are worse off because of it. Here are the pros and cons of waiting to see if the forbearance is extended. Again, cons outweigh the pros here. The one pro, you have more months of no payments due. So what? Because the cons are roughly $300 of interest added per month for the typical borrower. And time and forbearance still doesn't count for time-based forgiveness or directly for PSLF forgiveness. Stop waiting is really the key here. But let's take a look at scenario number 3, the wildcards. Retroactive credit for forbearance months. All right. If any court order or future administration ever grants forgiveness credit for time in the SAVE forbearance, eligibility would rest on having been in the forbearance, a fact permanently recorded in federal loan data, not on remaining in it. Remaining in it doesn't do anything. The IDR account adjustment worked exactly this way too, crediting past periods based on loan history, regardless of the borrower's current plan they're on. So, leaving now would end the SAVE forbearance, which is going to end anyway, but also resuming payments gets you credits towards forgiveness. This is a super long shot too, but you could argue that you've cost yourself several months of payments you wouldn't have had to make at the risk of it continuing to grow your loan with no benefit. A future Congress or administration revives a generous plan. Let's take a look at this scenario, a wild card. Of all wild cards, any new statute or regulation would set its own eligibility rules. The only real grandfathering in current law, which would be access to IBR pay and ICR, is based on having loans disbursed before July 1st of 26, not on SAVE enrollment. Access to repayment plans is based on loan origination date, not being enrolled in a specific plan. The earliest we could see massive change again is 2030, This assumes that in 2029 and presidency changes, as well as both the House and Senate, and that they work over the summer to pass massive reform that could take effect in 2030. Okay, so here are the pros and cons of waiting on either of these wildcard scenarios. And by the way, just go blow your money on slot machines if you're really gambling on this all to fall into place for you. All right, so the pro, there is no S on that. You have more months of no payments due. Okay, let's take a look at the 3 cons, which outweigh the pro there. Each wildcard pays out on your recorded history, not your current plan. Retroactive credit, new legislation, or a future plan would be based off past harm or loan disbursement dates. Your forbearance months are already banked, whether you stay or go. Waiting means paying interest today for a lottery ticket you'd have either way. Waiting has a cost. That is the moral of the story. Interest on save loans resumed August 1st of 2025. It's almost a year later. The typical affected borrower has added roughly $3,200 to $3,500 to their balance, based on Student Borrower Protection Center estimates of about $300 per month. The forgiveness cost is less visible, but often larger. None of the forbearance time counts toward any forgiveness, and it counts toward PSLF only through the buyback program, which offers no discount for these months and carries a multi-year processing queue. A PSLF borrower who waited from August of 25 through September 26 gave up 14 qualifying months. And if you're buying back, your payments today in 26 are exactly the same cost as repayment would be. So for someone within a few years of forgiveness, that delay can actually increase costs in the future. For those going for time-based forgiveness, future payments are likely to be more expensive. That means that either you're going to pay more lifetime and/or reduce future loan forgiveness. Okay, so the benefit is what most borrowers are focused on. No payments due. I'm not gonna pay anything this month. That's a microwave thinking process. Staying put does protect your short-term cash flow, the 1 minute in the microwave, which is real relief if you're facing serious hardship. But it converts today's breathing room into a larger balance, a longer clock, and a riskier deadline, which could extend your hardships. As the College Investor's Save Decision Framework puts it, number 1, if your goal is forgiveness, you need the cheapest qualifying months that count. Number 2, if your goal is payoff, you want to repay the smallest amount legally allowed. The forbearance accomplishes neither and makes both scenarios more expensive for you over time. The bottom line here, if you run your scenario forward, the same answer keeps coming back. Staying in Save Forbearance isn't likely to benefit you financially long-term. The pathways on the table, including the lawsuit thingy that these other organizations bring up, either apply to switchers and stayers alike or are based on your payment history that's already on record. The one benefit of waiting is that you just don't have to make a payment this month. But this option does not change the long-term math of growing a loan balance. Every month in the forbearance adds like $300 in interest for the typical borrower and moves nobody closer to forgiveness. Borrowers pursuing PSLF or IDR forgiveness should switch today, right this second, and restart the clock using the College Investor's Student Loan Calculator to compare payments. For most borrowers pursuing PSLF, the goal is the lowest monthly payment between IBR, pay, and WRAP. And for households that truly cannot afford a payment, the forbearance remains a legitimate hardship tool. But please, please, just treat it as that, not as a long-term strategy. And calendar the deadline so you don't end up in the standard plan unexpectedly, which would then make you go into default, which would then just don't do it. Switch now, switch now, switch now. If you need help on this, you want to find out more, if you need us to just hold your hand and walk you through the process, please reach out to us. We would love to help you. That's why we're here. Search for the words The College Investor on social media. We are here to help you wherever you are in your journey. Also, check us out at thecollegeinvestor.com. Human-to-human interaction is best when navigating these things. Thecollegeinvestor.com is where you can find us. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.